Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Can you hear the clicking when I'm doing this?
I can hear it.
That one. Oh, there's the one. I have this little calendar thingy, and I keep forgetting to change it before we go on the air. But there it is. It's the 10th day of November. Holy cow. I've got a guest coming up. This is really kind of a cool thing. I got this email about a new product called screen-flair. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's okay. It's brand new. It's a new concept. You know the screen protectors like we have right here on our phone?
Yeah.
There's a guy that came up with this idea. He's like, why do a boring screen protector like that? Why not make one that looks cool, that has designs on it?
But then you can't see through it.
Oh, but when it lights up, you see right through it.
Oh.
That's the thing. So I was going to visit with the inventor of the product. I don't think it's the inventor we're talking to. It's a guy that's helping him get the message out. But either way, I'm excited because I think it's a cool idea. They said they would even send us some to give away.
Nice.
Yeah, so be looking for a screen-flair contest coming soon to a John and Heidi show near you. We'll tell you how to win that when we know how to win that. First, let's get our quote for today. It says, the deadliest weapon in the world is a Marine and his rifle. General John Pershing. But Marine is capitalized. Today is the Marine Corps birthday, by the way. We'll get to that and much more going on today in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free discreet shipping.
Call 800-296-1289 or learn more at radiosavings.com. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, November the 10th. Today is the Marine Corps birthday, which is cool. That's awesome. Happy
cool.
birthday, Semper Fi. It's also Area Code Day. So, like the first three digits? Mm-hmm. And what is the next three digits called? Because in every TV show ever, every movie ever, it's always 555. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I wonder what's that?
I don't know what they're called. They're just your phone number.
Area code. There's probably a name for it. I have to see if I can figure out what that is. Also, it is coming up tomorrow, Veterans Day.
Aww.
It's also Sesame Street Day today. So that's pretty darn cool. A lot of cool stuff. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Boy. IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guarantee. You may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe.
See if you qualify. 800-649-0142. Learn more at radiosavings.com. Coming up, we got your brain on drugs. But first, some bizarre news from Colorado. I know, it's hard to believe. Anything weird from Colorado. A couple there has created a deodorant that's made of whiskey. And it's called Pit Liquor. Liquor. Pit Liquor. And people who wear it sweat and smell like whiskey. And if you have a drinking problem, you might be a pit licker, Licker. If you're, I need some of that. Who wants to smell like whiskey?
Why would you want to smell like that?
I don't know. But they say that this pit liquor, Liquor, pit liquor, it says people who wear it will sweat almost like a whiskey substance. So I'm not exactly sure.
Isn't the whole point of deodorant to keep you from sweating?
I think it's also to keep you from smelling like whiskey. You put that on so you don't smell the whiskey.
Huh.
I don't know. Maybe
That's an interesting concept.
I might have been doing it wrong all these years.
They were probably smoking something when they came up with that
idea.
idea.
They were probably drinking a lot of whiskey.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Drinking a ton of whiskey when this happened. All right. We've got your brain on drugs on the way.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. Terry Tubbs Jr. He's 27 years young. He's a drug dealer in Florida, and he complained that because of the constant police harassment, he, quote, can't sell no more and can't get no money because someone labeled him as a snitch, end quote. So he's trying to sell heroin.
Well, that's a shame.
Tubbs became irate when the Palm Beach County Sheriff drug agents arrested him following a traffic stop. Tubbs told detectives he was, quote, tired of law enforcement bothering him. Because of this, he can't sell his heroin no more.
Aww.
He also complained that detectives have stolen money from him after they served a search warrant at his home a year ago. And says the search warrant of Tubbs' home, they found sealed bags of marijuana labeled Gorilla Glue, cookie dough, and sweet tooth. Sweat tooth. That'd be something different. That'd be what we talked about a little bit ago. Sweet tooth. Anyway, he has a long arrest history, and he's being held on a $119,000 bond. So there you go. If you'd like to read the story, I've got a link to it at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen. Nielsen. Didn't we just talk about the NFL ratings being down 5% from last year?
Oh, yeah.
Nielsen ratings just came out with the new number, and they say they're down over 25% from this exact same time last year. So the NFL was saying, oh, we're only down like 5%. Now, Nielsen's like, no, you're not. 25%. We do the ratings, people. We know what we're talking about. Hey, Ben Affleck is back in the news. Ben Affleck says he wants to be part of the solution in Hollywood, so he's donating the proceeds from the films that he made with Harvey Weinstein to women's charities. I think that's cool that he did that.
He's just trying to save his own butt because he's been accused of stuff.
He has
too,
been accused of things, but I think it's nice that he's at least coming out. He doesn't have to do that. He could say, hey, I'm going to keep this for my legal defense. But, you know, he did something nice. Speaking of Harvey Weinstein, I've been trying to avoid these stories. Every day there's like 50 of them. But this one was weird. It says a new report claims that he was hitting on Paris Hilton in a women's restroom in France. What? What was he doing in France in a women's restroom?
Exactly.
I just don't understand some of this stuff. Big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international.
Call 800-719-5601 or learn more at radiosavings.com. Now your scoop of the day. A survey by the Center for Disease Control, also known as the CDC, Heidi.
Thank you.
Yeah. They found that 4 in 10 doctors go to work even when they're sick. It's probably good for business. Like, I'm not feeling good, doc. Me neither. Now you got what I got, too.
4 in 10.
4 in 10. That's 40%, Heidi. Again, quick math. 40%. Go to
You're
work.
just impressing us with your knowledge today. It's
Everybody should
crazy.
be dazzled and amazed with all this knowledge. A Canadian doctor, speaking of doctors, listen to this. A Canadian doctor lost his medical license for showing pornographic videos to his patients and sexually harassing female patients.
Huh.
Doc, I got a jammed finger and got a splinter. Yeah, well, watch this video and see if that helps. What the? No, that didn't help. Not at all. How is that supposed to help? I just don't understand why he was doing that. That makes no sense to me. Speaking of things that don't make sense to me, earlier in the program we talked about a couple in Colorado. They just recently released a underarm deodorant that smells like whiskey. KFC has just released a soap in Japan that smells just like fried chicken.
That is just disgusting.
Why would you want to wash your hands and then smell like fried chicken? I try to wash that smell off my hands. I'm like, hey, I just finished with fried chicken. I'm going to go wash my hands. Still smells like fried chicken. I would think the soap didn't work. But apparently that's what people want.
You could just skip the deodorant altogether and have that smell. My sister-in-law says that BO smells like chicken noodle soup. That's
really?
What made me think of that.
Oh, I guess I've not smelled that one. Which sister-in-law said that?
Jen.
Huh, I've never heard. Jen? We'll have to chat. I've never heard that one before. Hey, when a cat gets caught in a tree, some people call the fire department, right?
Yes.
We're not sure why fire professionals have ever been the ones to call. Maybe it's because they have ladders on trucks.
Probably.
I don't know. But one state residence In one state now, residents have somebody to call. In Washington State, people can call Canopy Cat Rescue. It's a small company that was started by Sean Sears and Tom Otto. They are professional tree climbers, and they are at the ready and quick to respond if you have a cat in a tree. So do you think this is going to be a franchise that will catch on all over the place? Canopy Cat Rescue?
I would have named it something else.
I don't know. Well, I wonder why Canopy. Do you think they go up and just push the cat onto a canopy?
Because a bunch of shaded trees. It's called a canopy.
Oh.
The shade trees.
That could be.
So I'm sure that's
Canopy?
where that came from.
Canopy
Because they go
Cat
up into
Rescue.
the canopy to get the cat.
Oh, that makes sense.
Out.
See, I don't know. Again, it doesn't.
But I would have named it something fun.
What would you have called it?
Probably something inappropriate.
Something we can't say on the radio? Probably. Most likely. Hey, Pakistanis, their national airline there is Pakistan's, rather. I'm sorry. Pakistan's, I don't know what I'm saying here. Can I start over?
Sure.
Hi, guys. I'm John, and it's Friday, and I got a story here from Pakistan. The national airline there apologized Wednesday for leaving a couple of passengers behind in New York City. The passengers did not complain, by the way, because they're dead. Yeah.
What?
They left two corpses behind. They were supposed to travel from New York to Pakistan.
Oh, my gosh.
They were loading stuff on the airplane. They forgot them laying there, and they took off without the bodies.
Oh.
What the what? Can you imagine, though, if you were... I'm assuming they weren't putting
Being
them
the
in
one who found those?
Well, I'm assuming they weren't putting them in with the passengers. I'm assuming it was like down in the cargo.
Strap them into a seat.
Yeah. Can I get a different seat? Why is that? This dead body keeps falling over and hitting me.
Well, if you're sitting next to the dead body, maybe you get his meal.
Yeah, there you go. He said he liked the chicken. I have no clue how it works. All I know is I thought that was a weird story. And thank you for listening to our Friday edition of the Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of a default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Call the Student Loan Helpline now.
Call 855-380-FAST or learn more at radiosavings.com.
This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Got a really cool new product that was just recently invented, I guess, first of all, and then now being put out to market. And we're going to be visiting with Matt Entringer right now about a thing called screen-flair. Matt, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. I was just fascinated when I was I was kind of scrolling through some emails, and I came across this one. It was talking about this new thing called screen-flair. And one of the things that I think is really neat is it's from Sioux Falls. It's from right here. Now, tell me a little bit about where this screen-flair product came from, and let's talk to people about what that even is, first of all.
Yeah, absolutely. So screen-flair is a brand new line of colorful and reusable screen protectors. So a lot of times you go in when you're, looking for something for your smartphone, all they really have is just clear pieces of plastic, or, you might upgrade and get a $50 piece of glass, but there's really no designs to it. And, when Randy Cowan from Cimarron Label here in Sioux Falls came to us in December of last year, it was something that I had never even thought of, but once you see it, it's so obvious. And really, the way people customize their phones and everything else, it just makes sense that, you're able to customize the front of your screen as well. And, to start a kind of a national company here in Sioux Falls is pretty cool. Somebody that's able to do that and have that technology. And we're the only ones doing it. So the only ones in Sioux Falls, or the only ones in the country that are making them, is right here in Sioux Falls.
That's really cool. And the thing that's neat is that the gentleman that came up with this idea, he's works at a big company that does labels. So when I was reading the information, he was looking at these and he's like, well, that's kind of interesting because it's really kind of like just like a label. But why is it just clear? Why is it just plain and boring? We could spice that up and make it fun. And screen-flair was born. What a cool concept. And I thought it was neat that he just thought of that while he was looking at a clear plastic screen protector.
Yeah, when you're in the label industry, apparently you see things a lot differently than other people do. I had worked in the accessory industry for Sprint for a few years, and it did something that never even crossed my mind, that you could put designs on screen protectors, and you standing in line at a Verizon store, and see somebody putting a label on, just instantly had the idea. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Randy's the president of the Minnehaha Country Club, and he's a busy guy, but he's always got new ideas brewing. So
that's awesome. Now, the thing that's really neat is you can have these designed with a lot of different designs on them, and they have some that are like predetermined designs as well. And when your phone is not on, when it's, and the screen's not lit up, it's got this cool design on it. But then when the screen lights up, that kind of, I don't want to say it goes away, but it somehow goes away where you don't notice it there.
Yeah, it definitely gets muted because what we wanted to do is we wanted to create a fun kind of screen protector for people that they can have on their phone. If you're interested in sports or animals or food, you can see that, when you're looking at your phone all day. But we didn't want it to interfere with the actual use of your phone. There's no point in having graphics over it, if it's interfering with your texting and your apps and everything else. And so we spent quite a bit of time reviewing each of the designs individually, putting them on the phones, making sure that everything looked good, that it was functional, and that people would like it. Have a little bit, like you said, imagery on there when the phone is, maybe on a lighter background. But once you start getting to pictures and other things like that, kind of going away so that you can focus what's on your screen.
I think it's a really cool idea. When I was flipping through my emails and I saw that, I was like, this is just I think it's a great idea, and I can't believe nobody has come up with it yet.
I can't believe that either, to be honest with you. It's kind of crazy. We did a lot of research, a lot of research to see what was out there, because it's one of those ideas that you're like, oh, it's so obvious, people must have done it. But what's funny is that Randy, the owner, is at Cimarron Label. They've got just serial number 1 of this digital press called the Domino Press, and that's what allows them to do this. And so really the technology hasn't even come around until about probably the last year or two to actually even make these, because otherwise it just wouldn't be cost affordable, and they would be, they'd be quite a bit more expensive. You'd be paying $50 for the screen protector instead of right now they're just $9.95.
And one of the other things that's cool, I remember reading in the article that if I wanted to have one, so like if I wanted to get our radio station logo put on there, if I wanted to get the John and Heidi Show logo, I could actually customize that. Or if there's a business that says, hey, I want to make these with our information and give those out at Christmas time, it's possible to do that too, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, what's great about that is, hopefully we're hoping that eventually we'll get into fully customizable where you can just do kind of one-offs and you can have, your family or your friends or your pet on there. For right now, we're kind of doing a little bit larger scale B2B, kind of like you were mentioning, where if somebody wanted them to use as a promotional item, we've had some talks with some larger, actually very large corporations around the country about already starting to use that. And that's something that it's just, when you think about grabbing people's attention, how much they're on their phone, if you could find a way to get your message in front of them on their smartphone, it's something they'll see every day. And if they like the design, they've got it on there. It's just a great way to promote to other people, too.
Absolutely. I think it's a really cool idea. And again, for those of you just tuning in, the product is called ScreenFlair, but the company is called Enamor Products. And one of the things I think is really cool is it's based right here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is awesome. I think this is something that people all over the world are going to be utilizing in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, that's the really interesting thing is, we make it right here in Sioux Falls, but, nationwide, think about, across the world, you think about how many smartphones people have. The iPhone is everywhere. It's not just here in the United States. So our product will work the same here as it will overseas. And the nice thing is that, we're already starting to think about how we can diversify and maybe even including Spanish language designs, including other things like that, so we can kind of make it, expand it beyond the United States and kind of set it up for, like you said, worldwide use. Global
domination.
That's right.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with me. I think it's a really cool idea. We're going to keep our eye on ScreenFlair because I think it's just a fun concept and a great product.
Thanks so much, John. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. I'm going to throw a link to their page to make it really simple and really easy on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. We're going to throw that on there. And again, that we had talked to them about maybe even doing a giveaway. So be looking in the very near future. Maybe we'll be doing a giveaway to give some of these out too. Again, it's called ScreenFlair. All the details at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free discreet shipping.
Call 800-296-1289 or learn more at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Sea otters hold hands while they sleep. Just like
knew
we do.
that.
We
Isn't
do
that
that
cute? We
too.
do
No,
not
we
do
don't.
that.
I try. Heidi smacks me away. She's like, don't touch me. I'm trying to sleep. But they do that so they don't drift apart. We should hold hands so we don't drift apart. We could, because our bed is ginormous. We got a king-size bed, and I don't know why, but it seems bigger than a regular king-size. Did you order a special bed? Can you make one bigger? I mean...
And even with the bed the size it is, I still sleep right on the edge.
And I scoot way over by her. I'm like, hey, I was kind of lonely in the other room on the other side of the bed. It's like a warehouse-sized bed. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In 1986, Apple Computer Company launched a clothing line. I think we talked about that one other time. Did we talk about that before?
I don't know.
Maybe I just read it online. Final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Between 1900 and 1920, tug of war was an Olympic event. How would you like to be an Olympic champion tug of war? The good news
I
is...
actually knew that it was, but I
just think that's an interesting, and now they don't do that anymore, apparently. So there you go. Couple of fun facts brought to you by RadioSavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Are you struggling with addiction or alcohol problems? If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help, and your insurance may offer coverage.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares. Call 800-438-0380, 800-438-0380.
Time now for the weird word of the day. You ready for this one?
I am ready.
I wish I was. Cenotaph. 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 So, first of all, what do you think it is? Don't read this here. What do you think cenotaph is?
I honestly couldn't.
Kind of sounds like an animal to me.
It sounds like it's like something with many legs, like a centipede.
Yeah, it sounds like an animal to me, like a critter of some kind. Let's see what it is. Cenotaph is a noun, a monument erected in honor of a person whose remains are elsewhere. So there you go. It says a huge obelisk. What is that?
I don't know. Is that the word for tomorrow?
It should be. The huge obelisk cenotaph dedicated to George Washington was more than 50 years in the making. I believe that's like the Washington Monument. So that's a cenotaph.
Okay.
So it's a monument for somebody whose remains are somewhere else. So it's not a tombstone. That's different. This is like a tombstone, but somewhere else.
Okay.
There you go. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
There will be a quiz later. All right. This has been your weird word of the day.
John and Heidi.
Boy. IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guarantee. You may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe.
See if you qualify. 800-649-0142. Learn more at radiosavings.com. Now some weird news for you on a Friday. Dungeons & Dragons. I've never really gotten into that. I remember when I was a kid, I had a friend that was kind of into that. And there was like weird dice that had like 35 sides to them and stuff.
Yeah.
Remember seeing those? You know what that is?
I've never played it, but...
Well, there's a dude in London, Ontario that's been playing the same game of Dungeons & Dragons since he was 14 years old. He's now much older. It was 35 years ago they started this.
Wow.
I hope he's taking a break at least. Based out of Robert Warbog's basement, people from all around the country gather each week to join in a decades-long campaign. And with over 20,000 figurines and dozens of terrains, he's kept the game fresh and exciting, adding to the everlasting adventure. I've got a link to this story online if you want to know more about it. 35 years.
And he still lives in his mother's basement.
It doesn't say that. But it's probably a safe bet. It doesn't say that in this story. But it does say that they've been playing for 35 years since he was 14 in the same basement.
Wow.
So maybe mom and dad moved.
Yeah.
Maybe not. This has been your weird news brought to you by radiosavings.com. Now your moment of duh. Officer Iris Stan, a Plantation, Florida police officer, accidentally tasered a 10-year-old boy. Now this is the sad part of the moment of duh. Should have known better. Here's what happened. Investigators said the child received just minor injuries, so the kid's okay. Although if the probes had penetrated into the skin further, it would have been much worse. But the police blamed the incident on fatigue, saying Stan worked 8-hour shifts in the previous 10 days. So worked eight shifts rather in the 10 previous days, changing shifts as part of her training. And so she is the officer. She was also displaced from her home, but they're saying she was being careless by pointing the taser at the child with her finger on the trigger, and that it went off. Anyway, there's a link to the story if you want to read all about it. But it was not intended to happen. And like I said, this 10-year-old boy, luckily, was not hurt. It just makes me think of Brian Regan.
Yeah.
He had a joke about politicians that wanted to have tase 10-year-olds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He wants to tase 10-year-olds. And he's like, well,
I meant worst case
scenario. It's not like I want to line them up on the stage and say, can we bring some 10-year-olds in for this? Tase a 10-year-old. Anyway, if you'd like to read this story, I've got a link to it at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international.
Call 800-719-5601 or learn more at radiosavings.com. Got some good news coming your way here in a bit. Now some weird news. For those of you who have not been paying attention, Rand Paul was recently attacked on his own lawn by his neighbor, wasn't it?
Yes.
So Rand Paul, who's a politician from the great state of Kentucky, suffered 5 broken ribs when a neighbor attacked him outside of his home. Not exactly sure what led up to that. Maybe that's who wrote the letter for our Dear John letter yesterday. Maybe Rand Paul was the one that was blowing leaves on this guy's yard, and the guy said, hey,
enough is enough.
Heidi gave me some ideas here. I'm going to come over and give you a smackdown. That's probably what happened. So we can blame that on Heidi.
That was you who was talking about the
Was it me?
smackdown.
I don't remember me being me. There's no way. Hey, if you'd like to read our Dear John letter, that's on facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And you can always submit one as well, and we'll answer yours next week. But we do have some good news to get to. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with some good news. You ready for some good news, Heidi?
I am always ready for some
All
good
right.
news.
After a couple refuses to sit next to the police, they're met with rude awakening on their check. You're the one that sent this to me, correct?
Yes.
So it says right here, got to scroll through. There's so many pop-ups on these pages you send me. 4 police officers walk into a diner. Sounds like part of a joke, right? Well, it wasn't. This is what happened at the Eaton Park in Homestead, Pennsylvania, and it was no joke. But there was some blatant disrespect that they received from a customer who did not want them to sit near them. The rude customer was not very nice. The 4 officers already seated at their booth when a server asked them to move to another booth. Attempted to seat the couple in another booth. Attempted to seat so the couple was coming in.
Yeah, they were just coming in. The officers were already seated, and they asked, can we sit somewhere else? We don't want to sit by them.
Yeah. Anyway, so now that we got past that, said, I looked over and said, it's okay, sir. You don't have to worry about it. We won't hurt you. That's what the officer said. He looked at me hard again and said, I'm not sitting here, and walked away. Didn't want to sit anywhere near these officers. Tension between the officers and civilians increased significantly in response to a spike in reported police brutality in recent years. So the sad thing is, these guys, none of these guys have ever been accused of anything. Given the actions of the couple, the officers decided to make a gesture of goodwill, taking the high road and doing something to contribute to healing broken trust. And you can see right here in the picture, which I'll hold up to the radio. That doesn't translate to the radio, does it? Thomas, pictured above, and his colleagues wanted to somehow rise above it all and turn this into an opportunity. And it says, sir, your check was paid for by the police officers you did not want to sit next to. Thank you for your support. How cool is that? Mm-hmm. That was really neat. Is there more? I'll keep scrolling here.
No, that was pretty much it.
It says, essentially, the whole goal of it was to let us know that we're here.
That's not what
We're not here to hurt you. We're here to help.
Right. And if you read the receipt, the receipt didn't say.
What did it say? I read the thing under it. It says, "Sir, your check was paid for by the police officer that you didn't want to sit next to." Oh, you over here?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it said.
I'm sorry. I was thinking it said something else.
What did you think it said?
I don't remember.
Was yours more fun?
I've sent you so many things that I think I got them all mixed up with another one.
No, it's my monkey. Whose monkey was it?
I think it was very sweet.
It was very sweet. And I apologize. They also left a $10 tip, too. So that's nice. They put that on there. So I'm going to move on. This has been your good news. Maybe I should pre-read these before I just kind of dive in.
Maybe, because you kind of stutter and stammer through them.
I'm scrolling through really fast. I have 2 minutes to get to it. We're already way over now, so there you go. If you want to read the good news, I always do put a link to it, so you can read it without my stuttering and sputtering. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.